Alright, my homies, last game of the day. I have to be honest and say that I found out the result of this one. Sucks. I found out the results. Usually I want to do this, I wanted to kind of, get into it and enjoy it, full time, but I have to be honest, I'm not gonna do some acting, whatever. So in this one, I know the results. I know that Fnatic is going to win. But still, let's review some gameplay here. Gigabyte Marines are going with the same bans as they did before, and Fnatic are going with the same bans as they did before. If they decide to ban Urgot last year, then it's going to be the same as before. Galio is the one. Urgot. Actually, no. Fnatic didn't ban Urgot. They banned Galio here the last time. They did exactly the same bans, but they didn't ban Urgot the last time. They played into the Urgot with the Cho'Gath, and they camped him and did a lot of fantastic things here. Fnatic now have the better choice of AD. Lulu with Janna out is the no-brainer choice. They have the option of going Twitch, and I feel like the thought process is that they can play Twitch into Kog'Maw, they can play Tristana into Twitch, and either way they can get the counter. Question is now, if Gigabyte Marines decide to blind pick Twitch, Tristana, does Gigabyte Marines have the balls? Does Fnatic have the balls to just pick Varus into it? Varus is going to be, Rakan is going to be the pickup now. With Janna out into Lulu, I think it's kind of a must, unless you want to play Taric, but we've seen less and less Taric in this tournament as we've moved on. And there we go, so Rakan and Tristana together. Fnatic now, are they going to go for the Varus? I sincerely doubt it. Sivir, whoa. Sivir works too. I'm a big fan of Sivir. I think Sivir as a champion definitely has a place. She has that pushing going on for herself. She can eat the Rakan engage. I don't know how it interacts, because if he jumps in and she eats the taunt, she can still get knocked up by the W, so maybe it's not like super optimal, but at least maybe she can move out of it after eating the ult of Rakan. So who knows, I'm curious to see how that interaction works. Nevertheless, against Tristana, she can maintain very high mana pools, and she can always get mana back by eating the passive of Tristana, or eating even her E-spell. Right? So Sivir definitely has a place. She can push bottom, and I like that we see Sivir right now. Fnatic are waiting very long for their jungle pick. Let's see if they're going to take away a Kayn, or if they're just going to pick a Gragas. Rek'Sai has been banned from Gigabyte Marine's side, and that has been the go-to choice for Broxah. Gragas is also out. Sejuani has been picked, so there's 4 jungle bans. Let's see now if Fnatic are going to go for Lee Sin, because that's been a choice for them. I feel like they need to last pick top lane for sure though, and just put Fnatic in a scenario where, sure, they could pick Maokai here and just have this bulldozer going for them, or they could last pick top. Blind pick Gnar. That is bold. How good is Gnar against Urgot? Now that's the question. I think Gnar should win against Urgot, but I'm not completely sure. I'm not 100% sure. Well, the Urgot Masters are not picking it, so I think that speaks for itself. Maybe he is. Holy moly. Okay. All in all, Maokai and Orianna, the last lock-ins. Orianna does fine into Syndra in the matchup, and Maokai is going to get outscaled by this Gnar. Elise to round this off. Ooh. Okay. So this is like Elise and Gnar can try to snowball this game very early on, and the question is if Orianna here is going to run cleanse in mid lane, or if she's confident in her tap dancing skills. Running cleanse is the usual standard against Elise, and especially Syndra. I feel like it's kind of a must-have, but he's not going for it. Syndra is running cleanse against all these champions that have a lot of CC. Maokai has CC, and Sejuani and also Rakan. So the cleanse for mid lane here is a no-brainer. I think Orianna should run cleanse too, because I think that she's going to be very, very susceptible to ganks here. Let's see what happens in this one. I'm super excited for this game, even though I know the result. I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone. But let's see what happens now. I'm just going to flip my phone because the screen was a bit distracting. We have to pay attention to what Broxah does. I'm hoping that he plays into the top side and into the mid lane, because I feel like they can maybe pick up something early here against the Maokai, and they can pick up kills against this Orianna that is not running cleanse. I feel like Fnatic, just because Orianna is not running cleanse, they can win that 2v2. If, of course, Optimus, if he is in a situation where he dodges the cocoon and dodges all these spells because of his heal, then it's very good, right? But I feel like cleanse is just the safer option. So we will have to pay attention. Fnatic have to make sure that they play through mid lane the same way they did the last game, because they can definitely accomplish the same amount of pressure here and then play into the bottom side and make sure that this Sivir bot lane is constantly pushing. Archie taking some damage. This is going to matter, right? Archie is taking damage before coming into lane. It's going to come to the lane at that weird angle, and he just uses a passive on the blue buff there. Not a big deal. Let's see if this Elise is going to do any invades. Main thing here is that the Maokai warded, so he's going to spot Elise if Elise does some shenanigans. Sejuani, is she going to go straight for the blue? Usually the clear would be blue into Gromp into just going to the river for the Crabberoo. Broxah is doing a path though that puts him on the bottom side of the map. Let's see if he does blue buff into mid lane gank into top side, but all his camps are open bottom side. Of course, his play could be that he goes through mid lane, Archie taking some trades here, or Soaz taking some trades and Archie taking the damage to the face. That is a more proper explanation of it. Let's see now if Levi can take the crab. I like this ward on the crab because usually Elise would be faster if she does that specific clear. Whoa, Soaz with the flash. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Okay, let's take a look back here. Because the wave seems to be in a very awkward position. Like the creeps were hitting Soaz. And Soaz... What happened here? Why is the wave in such a strange position? Like he's slow pushing. He's slow pushing, and what choice does he have here to walk up? There's no way he can play safe. I felt like he could have played the previous wave situation where the enemy slow pushed towards him. He knows Elise is pathing into bottom side. He should be 100% aware of Elise and her pathing, and right here she's slow pushing when Sejuani got a leash, and they know where she started. So I feel like this is a wave mismanagement problem. I think Soaz could have frozen the wave from before after that trade against Archie, and I feel like this is just a mismanagement, and he was slow pushing towards Archie and he was forced to show up on wave, and you know, either way the situation would have been really bad for Soaz. Either he gives up a lot of CS or he just dies from the Sejuani gank. And right now the situation is the same. Like Soaz is still so pushing towards Archie, and Elise is nowhere close to this. Levi is playing Sejuani, by the way. Can we highlight that? You know, Levi is playing Sejuani, not some tanky pick. And Soaz, you know, oof. All right. Okay. And this was 100% because of wave mismanagement. He knew his junglers are on bottom side and he just didn't play around it properly. Broxah is just farming away on the bottom side. Levi is going to counter the same. He's pushing out top now for Maokai. He can potentially do the freaking golems of the enemy team. But very good trade here for Broxah. He procs the Thunderlord and the red buff is taking away. And Gigabyte Marines are getting pressured as well in the bottom lane. TP is coming in for Maokai to farm out the wave. Are they going to send Tristana into the top side? You know, we have seen now that Nar has been getting killed, and there's a lot of things going wrong for Nar here, but at the same time, there was a lot of things going on for Fnatic in the bot side. Lulu and Sivir were pushing in, and Elise was pressuring them with her harassment. No lane swap is commencing. Tristana and Rakan are just walking bottom, and Maokai basically burned his TP to get one wave. Is it worth it? I don't think so. Especially because Rakan is in position bottom. If anything, it made sure that Fnatic couldn't cancel the recalls of Gigabyte Marines, so maybe that matters too. But I don't think this TP was that good. Better base for Reckless than it is for Tristana, right, with the double longswords. A big deal here is that they are also running Relic Shield, so they're going to get that Ardent Sensor first, they're going to get bigger items first. There's a massive CS deficit on the bottom lane. I love the fact that we're seeing Sivir. $42 KDA, bro. Good stuff, good stuff. I think this was against H2K primarily. Alright. So Broxa is very committed to the idea of playing around bottom. I think at this point in time, maybe playing around top is kind of a outdated idea, especially since Gigabyte Marine's bot lane is so hard on the siege, and if Levi matches here, then it's going to be all good. Elise also as a range champion can come down and siege this no problem. There's no TP from Archie, so they don't have to be scared of anything coming from behind. Whoa. Good trade from Broxa. This should just be the bottom tower already. Fnatic is just going to continue to push here. Reckless, I think Broxa should help them with hitting the turret. Curious as to the situation with mid lane here, like how is it going? It seems like Orianna's had some space here to move. She's going down there to defend the tower, but if Fnatic just keep at it with the next wave as well, Orianna will have to go into mid lane, and they just pretty much they can rinse and repeat. Orianna can't stay bottom side forever. Fnatic pushed in mid lane now, and they should be able to get bot tower with this wave. Beautiful situation now for Fnatic. They get the first tower. Nar, sure, he died twice, and it matters that Sejuani gets a couple of kills, but you know, Maokai is not going to get any turrets against Nar at any point in the game. You know, Nar is going to just scale into the lane a lot slower than before with this assist money that Maokai has accumulated. That ultimate. Orianna now committing to the play up top. Soaz is just playing safely. The main thing with top lane is that you gotta. My headset is killing me. I'm not starting to become unhappy with this headset. It's killing my ears after I'm sitting with it for a longer period of time. What I wanted to point out is I forgot my point. Completely forgot my point. Let's just get back to what's going on in this game. Fnatic is now swapping up topside. Rift Herald is not open yet, but they want to play for that turret. So as is in position bottom to maybe defend one wave. Let's see now if Broxa's misposition is going to be a problem here, because he could potentially like Gigabyte Marines could have potentially set up some play bottom, but Sejuani is not in position and they don't know where Elise is. Elise is now level 5 to Levi's level 7. This is important to point out because Broxa has been trying to do a lot of invading that has been unsuccessful. He tried to take the red away, Levi got it, and Broxa has some jungling to do. He needs to do some catching up here. He didn't get anything personally for the pressure he amounted to bottom. He didn't get. He only get like that global tower gold. But Soaz has. I mean, Levi has 2 kills, right? So Gigabyte Marines have a lot of time to work with here since Nara is pushing out bottom. Eventually Maka will have to leave and Fnatic will start pushing topside again. I think the main question here is Fnatic playing through mid lane and trying to punish this Orianna with no cleanse. Now she has Mercs, so it's a bit harder than it was previously in the game, but I think that's where something needs to happen, because right now Optimus seems to have full control of the mid lane, and it seems to be an issue here. Oh, the gank onto the Gnar. Gnar is getting committed on. The mid wave is dead from Orianna. Let's see if they can catch him. Optimus is trying to look for him, but Soaz is 100% safe here. Like, he still has his E and... Ooh, sneaky beaky. He's emote spamming. Okay. Well, Optimus seems to be playing out mid lane very well because he seems to have priority, it's his advantage as well, and he seems to be able to move around the map a lot. And there's some arguments to why Syndra beats Orianna and vice versa, and I think it's 50-50 personally, and Optimus is supposedly he's having a great game here. While this time Orianna went top bot side though, of course Caps managed his push in because Orianna committed quite far, and then Caps is pressuring into top side, and Sejuani is also on the wrong side of the map because they tried to gank a Gnar. They tried to gank a Gnar that there was no wave in. Fnatic are just going for the objective play where they just keep pushing, they don't go for the kill. They only go for the kill if the enemy team is walking up to the turret too far, and this gank on bottom for Gigabyte Marines was a bit too desperate. And playing into bottom side when Gnar has pushed in the wave, I think the defensive play into top side is just so much better. Like, if they kept pressuring and using Orianna to step into top side river and maintain their pink wards, I think this game would have looked a lot, or this situation would have looked a lot better. Like, if instead here Sejuani and Orianna are just stepping into this side of the map, the space that they have control over, then they can alleviate pressure from top, and then the Rakan and the Tristana can scale for a little bit longer. But making the play into bottom, I think it's fine to do if they are the ones with the Gnar, and the Gnar is the one pushing the wave in, and they can dive this turret. Then there's actually a play that is equalizing. But the moment Gnar survives the gank, you know, he runs away, then everything changes. Like, everything changes. Gnar, they don't get any value from going bottom. Even if they kill them, they wouldn't get tower, and Fnatic are just taking top tower now for free. So this play where they rotate into bottom is just bad because Gnar is there and he pushed into wave already. It's predictable as well because Caps is just pinging him out. He saw he walked out of the lane on the right side, and like it's a very, very poor play for Gigabyte Marines that was risky, and the payoff would also be very, very small. So Fnatic now, because Orianna walked into bottom, Caps pushed out mid and then walked towards top side, and Fnatic are just gonna pick up this tower for free. This Sivir is definitely working out. Good stuff, good stuff. Like, I'm talking about how Xayah is Sivir 2.0, but Sivir is 1.0. It's the vanilla one, you know, it's the pushing master. You can also see that Soaz's disadvantage is starting to disappear more and more. Levi with the stun now on Broxa. Broxa managed to E away just in time, so the stun doesn't land. Levi is pretty deep now, the stun doesn't land. Levi doesn't have flash. Whoa, whoa, Jesses is also pretty deep. Instant ultimate. Whoa, whoa. Optimus. Okay. Crazy things. It's very close here that Levi, if he just gets the stun off, he ulted and E'd, and the animation of Sejuani's stun is quite slow, right? Compared to other spells that are like just, you know, targeted. It's like a gold card that is flying through towards you. I think that is a fair comparison in terms of animation. And Elise manages to E here to avoid the stun, and that makes the world of a difference. Levi burned flash from before. He's walking towards the plant, he does some juking. If he gets hit by that stun, he just dies instantly, and then he tries to kill Jesses, and Jesses is forced to flash out. Maybe in a world here where Jesses actually gets taunted and knocked up by the Rakan, he might have died there. And quite a slick play here from Levi, and good mechanical skill from Broxah to avoid the stun from Sejuani with the E. But Broxah is quite far behind now in levels, and that is not a good thing to have going on for you when you are the one playing Elise. But Fnatic have the 2 turrets, and what the hell? That seems so strange. There was some patches where Maokai would die there under the Nexus turret. But, not the Nexus turret, but the fountain. Alright. After that situation in the pit, Fnatic just scatter again. Fnatic going back up top. They push another wave. Enemy bot lane is nowhere to be found, and they just start up the Rift Herald, knowing that Sejuani had to base after all that. Like, Sejuani was really low, and Broxah just regened and was happy with his Hunter's Potion. Okay. So is now finishing his back cleaver. I think he can really start to pressure the Maokai now in the 1v1. I'm going to look forward to watching how that commences. Fnatic, you know, I still feel like they have this option to play through mid lane if they want to. And they could potentially catch the Orianna and one-shot her in a CC chain. The main thing here is that both Elise and Syndra have an easy time avoiding the CC that Sejuani can put out. But a good Orianna ultimate can also change the tide of a 2v2. The main differential here is that Fnatic, they are very strong on the side lane with their bot lane, and Gigabyte Marines are slowly gonna lose their side lanes harder and harder. That's where Fnatic need to start to just transition the pressure into mid lane as much as possible. You can see them rotating. Tristana and Rakan were just showing up on the wave, very similar to one of the plays that Fnatic did in the Longzhou game. And currently Fnatic are winning on both side lanes, and it's going to it matters so much. It's such a positive thing here. I want to see how the trades are going down in bottom. Archie is fighting Soaz, and Soaz is losing. Soaz is losing right now, and the play here from Gigabyte Marine is just to collapse on bottom. I think Soaz is pretty dead here. He should die no matter what. Soaz has flash. Let's see if he gets away. Soaz is also, like, if we... Oh, he has flash. Oh, maybe if he flashed there, he would have survived. I don't know, he flashes the ult, and then Sejuani would Q, E, and then he would die anyway, so saving flash is probably correct. Okay. If we take a look back, like, this isn't like the best situation to all in, right? Maokai seems to also do quite well in the 1v1. He doesn't seem to lose that much HP, and alling in right now is just a bad situation because his team is scattering towards the top side of the map. They're going for that top wave. They just got mid tower. They're the ones grouping up for the play. You don't need to create a situation where there's a play in bottom. So this is just unnecessary risk. And on top of that, it just seems like he's losing the engagement too. So that matters too. Let's continue. So Maokai is doing fine things in the side lane against the Gnar. He's not gonna like super stomp him though, so it's not gonna be that big of an issue. Maokai is going to most likely do more than the Gnar in a team fight, But the main focal point here is that the pressure from Sivir and Lulu and the side lane is going to matter so much, and it is already creating so many opportunities for Fnatic. Fnatic, we transition into them taking a dragon. All they did was send the Sivir and Lulu into bottom, and all of a sudden they had a big priority wave, and then they just went for the Drake, which is one of their options. And now, oof, I like this play from Fnatic because they are sending their bot lane into mid after this. So if we take a step back here, if we look at this little mini map, no one is in mid lane right now. Caps is getting priority. His bot lane is going to cover for him because he's going to walk straight to top, and then his bot lane is going to get priority on the next wave anyway. You can see as we come up here, Sivir and Lulu, they're going to be in timing for the next wave, and Caps just goes top after getting priority. He doesn't need to stand and fab around the mid lane, and it's a good timing gank here from Caps. Very well played. Good stuff from Caps. And then Caps goes back into mid lane, and Fnatic's bot lane rotate into bottom, and they're going to continue to play their split push game. So what does Gigabyte Marines now to do to cut through this? It's hard for them to catch the Syndra, and if anything, you know, they should look for 1-4 group situations and try to look for fights anyway. Even though Syndra has her cleanse and her flash, they need to make sure to be able to force these abilities, and they need to try to at least engage in mid and then play around these cooldowns. They need to try to latch on to Syndra and then get those cooldowns back up again and then do it again pretty much. And I think this is the key to pressuring now for Gigabyte Marines. You know, they have some good champions that scale very well, and their death ball is going to be really scary, because in team fights Maoka is going to do better, Sejuani is going to outperform. I think you know, Sivir and Tristana are similar, and Orianna, Syndra is also similar, maybe in favor a bit of Orianna scaling. And then Rakan is also scaling phenomenally in a team fight, right? So the main thing here is, how is the shield going to work when it comes to avoiding the engage for Sivir? And then, you know, in general here for Gigabyte Marines, I feel like they have a lot of tools to win team fights, and that is what they need to look for, even though it might look grim in the beginning where Fnatic are just using their cooldowns to survive that initial engage. But I feel like that's what you need to go through right now. They need to go through that process of trying to get pressure by burning the enemy's cooldowns. Gigabyte Marines now have a lot of wave clear in the mid lane, and Sejuani is in position 2. Gigabyte Marines are playing 2 people bot side, but it seems fine for Orianna. Fnatic are pressuring top side at the same time, and now the question is if Gigabyte Marines are just going to commit to this idea of trading bottom tower for a tower of their own. Let's see if Fnatic can actually commit on top tower with this wave that is coming in now, because that's something they would have to do in order to successfully commit to the trade. But you know, the big difference here is bottom. Gigabyte Marines are whoa, Optimus dodges the sun. The main difference here is that Fnatic are outnumbering the enemy by how many percent? 25% more people, right? Or I don't know how the math works, but they are 4 against 3. They are 75%. And then in bottom, they are 50% more people. So 2v1 is a worse situation than 3v4, mathematically. Because the value that Gigabyte Marines players need to have is 133 to match. And then the value that Soaz needs to have in order to match is 2, which is a lot higher, right? I don't know if what I'm saying right now is making sense, but mathematically it's something like that. I don't remember precisely. It's so hard for me to talk math in English, because I learned all those words in Swedish, and it just has very little application for me in English to use those words I used in math in school. Like when I went to high school, like I was doing this nature science program, and I had to take like 5 courses of math, and we did pretty much everything there. It was very interesting, actually. I'm a big fan of math. Void staff ready on Syndra. Let's consider for a moment if it's a wise choice. Like, sure, he's gonna be DPSing the tanks. Merc's already ready on Orianna. Like, if you buy Void staff and the enemy team has 1 MR item already, it's good, right? I think it's, if you are past 50 MR, Void staff is already good. And I think it's fine. I think it's a fine buy. Like, he's gonna be able to actually DPS the tanks as well a lot better, and the tanks have bought a lot of MR already. We have Locket of Iron Solari ready. I think Sejuani is at around 110 MR right now, and then Maokai is also running around with his soon-to-be Spirit Visage. So I think it's a fine purchase. Fnatic can continue to match topside, but they are going to play for this Drake, it seems. They have enough vision in the case where Gigabyte Marine just commit to the Baron. I doubt that's going to happen. I feel like they're going to be happy with the fact that they can pick up this tower in a trade. I don't think it's necessary for Fnatic to trade Mountain Drakes for top turrets. But to be fair, it's also out of tower, so these towers will eventually fall if they want to do correct macro. Maybe even if they pushed away another wave, they would have still lost top tower. But right now their goal is to push out mid and then play with Sivir through topside, and then manage themselves to push the wave all the way through. As a second Mountain Drake though for Fnatic, so their Baron is going to be a lot stronger than before. QSS now ready for Sivir. I think that's a fine purchase. I don't think the shield is that reliable. No Mega for Soaz, but it's almost there, so it's a good timing here. Levi has flash if one needs to get out. Soaz is maybe a bit too defensive in his approach, but Tristana knocks him away, and his engage just completely falls flat because of it. Syndra is very far away, and Optimus has a very good position here for this fight, and it's a big problem that Fnatic is forcing here without including caps to the plane. Let's take a look back and then pay attention to the minimap. So Orianna's already moving. You can see Orianna's positioning is a lot better. See, Orianna's already here, and so Caps is very far away, very far away. The engage already is gone, and they shouldn't follow up on this. They should back off and push this wave. Syndra's going back into mid lane, clears the wave just in time to avoid the enemies from appearing, and forcing in this situation is playing bad. Like, look at Syndra coming in so late. She's trying to come from some good angle to pick someone off, but Fnatic don't need to force like this. They just don't need to force like this. And Gnar burning his TP, I think it's also a problem. I think now with the Spirit Visage, for sure, he's going to beat the Maokai in a 1v1. And with the TP, it limits him, especially during this time. Like the upcoming minutes, it's going to be all about that Baron. And having a good split pusher on bottom is going to be substantial. Soaz dies, and then Caps, you know, once again, Fnatic shouldn't have committed to this because Caps was not anywhere close. Like, Caps was on time for the play where Fnatic are just pushing out top and pushing next wave. Then he would do the same in mid lane at the same time, play a bit safe, use the vision in river. Reckless now, is he gonna die? He's gonna die, like he's dead now. Holy moly, what is going on? Gigabyte Breeze are getting picks left and right, and I think he's just taking a massive risk here, a massive risk that he doesn't need to take. Like, let's talk about the vision of Fnatic. So they see everything here. They see the river, and they see a bit of here as well. So this is the vision of Fnatic. Like, I painted it in yellow. This is the vision of Fnatic. What are the options for Gigabyte Marines? It's either they walk into mid lane and take the long path, or they sit in these top bushes. So with the law of probability, this is I'm saying law of probability, and I'm doing the same thing as before. Like, I don't know the English terms for these mathematical things in Swedish, but probabilitet is what we say in Swedish, which is probability, but yeah. So Reckless get picked up after taking, like he's walking up top for no reason. He should just wait for his team to push the mid wave, and then when the enemy team shows up, he can start pushing top, and it would be fine. Caps is very far away. Like Caps is intriguing here how he takes like some mixed decision, and then instead of walking straight, he could have been here with Lulu right now. He could have been here right now, and then instead he did this thing where he walks here and then here, which is also really strange. Like, I think this was just miscommunication here from Fnatic for sure, because they weren't on the same page at all. I don't like the fact that Fnatic is grouping up here. They disperse before they get the mid wave, so I'm unhappy with this play. So the mid wave is coming up now, and they pressured good, but all these people just running away to get the side waves, and then Syndra's all alone for the mid wave that is coming right now. So that is like a bad thing. Maokai is now being the one that pressures because Gnar pressured, and then Maokai was pushing during this time. Tristana and Rakan did the same, and then Caps now in mid lane. God bless the cleanse, but it's just not good enough here because there's too much CC from Gigabyte Marines. And definitely Fnatic should stay together there to push this mid wave. And with the death of Caps, Fnatic had to rotate into mid lane to, or did they have to? I don't know. They just had to give up something. They could have stayed top 2 and give up mid tower, and by the looks of it, maybe that outcome would have been better. But Sivir and Lulu are now rotating, and Gigabyte Marines are just shadowing them and zoning them off the turrets, and then Gigabyte Marines are just pushing here for what looks to be like potential inhibitor tower. Like Soaz is nowhere to be found, and Gigabyte Marines could potentially dive here if they wanted to, because like Nara just showed up in mid lane without a TP. Very hard situation to make a good decision here for Fnatic, but I felt like giving up mid lane tower is better than giving up the top lane inhib. You can argue that mid lane tower is more important because it should be hard to crack it when both teams have mages in mid lane that clear very well. Sejuani is in the mix now. Ooh, good counter engage. Reckless is in the mix. Use QSS, but it's not enough. And once again, we have a situation where Fnatic are just forcing without incorporating Caps into the play. So Caps is walking into mid, and they caught Archie. Sure, you could say that this type of poke was fine, but then they commit so hard, and Caps is now under mid lane tower, and Fnatic are playing a 4v5 situation. Not necessarily 4v5, but Tristana could reach the situation first if he wanted to. And Gigabyte Marines, you know, they have their mid laner, and of course Fnatic didn't. And at this point in time, tanks are really OP. Like the effect of tanks in a situation like this is absolutely crazy. Also Soaz is really late to the situation, and they're just, Fnatic is just outnumbered. And they're also playing into the hand of Gigabyte Marines, because they're playing the situations that are very good for Maokai and Sejuani, but it doesn't seem like it's over yet. Soaz still has his ultimate. Maybe they can pick up Archie here. So Caps is doing some great things. Holy moly. Good stun, good stuff. I don't know. Can they do this? Like Gnar does decent damage to it, and Syndra's level 16. Syndra can be the one turning here. Levi is very low on HP. Orianna is also very low on HP. No ultimate on anyone. Holy moly, Fnatic just sealed the Nashor. Holy moly, a situation that looked so grim. I want to take a step back and look at everything once again. So, Fnatic force here. Gnar is taking the long path around. So we see that Gnar is taking this path, which means that Gigabyte Marines are in a group situation, which should be beneficial for them. And then, let's take a look at what goes down. The engage comes in. Orianna ultimate is not on cooldown, so that would be a big deal here. Like, if Orianna is ready here, then they just get chomped in half, and the game, like, they just die here. Reckless dies against the tanks, and then because of the lack of damage from Gigabyte Marines and the heavy MR numbers from SOAS, like, he's sitting on, I don't know, maybe 120 MR here with his items, and he doesn't take any damage at all. He kept Gigabyte Marines very busy, and then this beautiful stun from Caps makes everyone so low. It's crazy how low everyone is. After that play, like, SOAS did a good play by staying in the mix. I feel like there's a mistake as well from Tristana not to walk straight to his team, because this Tristana is wasting time, getting zoned off, like, if he walked earlier, he wouldn't have gotten zoned off from Caps, and he would have been here so much earlier, and I think that matters a big time as well. Like, he was hitting the mid tower, and I don't think he should have, because his team was committing to a fight, committing to a situation. Eventually, Caps lands his beautiful stun, puts Optimus low, puts Tristana low too, but Tristana seems to lifesteal on them Wolves. Let's see now what happened in this situation. Yeah, it's just too late what the Gigabyte Marines tried to do, and I don't think they can contest it with so low numbers. And Optimus dies as well, and Fnatic, you know, keep in mind they have 2 Mountain Drakes, so they did that part very fast, crazy fast. Sivir is now ready to reduce the healing of the Maokai. Sivir is not that fed as she was before, where she was just getting priority everywhere. She has a lot of strange items she has put money into, right? Like the Relic Shield upgrade, and Execution is Calling, and QSS, and she is very far behind now in Tristana when it comes to DPS. Like, Sivir needs a couple more items now in order to be really, really successful in the team fights. Okay. Gigabyte Marines still have their inhibitor pushing up top. They're the ones grouping up. I want to take a step back, but there was like a replay. So Nara's top, and Fnatic are just losing the mid wave because Gigabyte Marines are positioning a bit more aggressively. At this point in time, you know, we didn't talk about it a lot, but Gigabyte Marines, I think they outscale Fnatic quite heavily. And right now, like Sejuani and Maokai are at their peak, and Nar needs to be very effective in the sideline in order for them to accomplish something. Gigabyte Marines team comp has a lot of ways of engaging, a lot of ways to tank towers, a lot of ways to just soak up damage when it's necessary. They can face check, they can take vision. Fnatic, on the other hand, it's very hard for them to walk up. It's very hard for them to walk up because they can get in the age zone. They can also, you know, sure, there's a QSS and there's a cleanse and there's a Sivir ultimate, but they'll just have to run. If Sejuani and Maokai come towards them, they'll just have to run. And that's going to be difficult for them. Caps is capable of killing tanks with these items though, so maybe we are overestimating it. Sivir as well is itemizing to kill tanks, which is very important because tanks are going to be the biggest issue for them and the biggest difference in the fights. Also the fact that Sivir is itemizing items that doesn't allow her to trade any autos with Sivir. Trade autos with Tristana, which is also going to be a problem. Hexdrinker is also up on no way, and Gigabyte Marines just need to continue playing with their so-called death ball here. They're going to try to group up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The cleanse, I don't know if Caps is the right target to go for. The ult from Rakan doesn't do much. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's take a step back already. So the ult of Rakan, oh, take a look at this. Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime has a malfunction. Orianna ult does absolutely nothing. Nada. Zero. Niche. And then on top of that, like where is everyone positioned? Like we see Tristana right here. Tristana, Sejuani, Orianna. So we see Archie engaging. No one can follow up right now. Let's roll the clip. The ultimate from Xayah knocks a lot of people up. But the only person that no way can DPS here is Elise, and she's probably the least important target. And Fnatic get a good fight going. So Optimus botched his ultimate, and Rakan did a good ultimate, but there wasn't enough follow-up, especially after Orianna just completely botched her ultimate. This fight could have definitely looked a lot different if Orianna ult was just present and it was actually good and actually useful, because Fnatic was pretty clumped up, and maybe together with that Rakan ultimate we could have seen a similar situation like in the SK Telecom game against EDG. Let's see as we proceed. Whoa, no way with them auto attacks. As we mentioned before, like Silver can't trade autos with Tristana at all. Zeke's Convergence is a buy now from Rakan, which is very interesting, right? He engages with his ultimate, it synergizes quite well. Like he engages and he wants Tristana to also pop off. I think I'm a fan of this buy. Let's see how much of a difference in DPS it does for Tristana. Optimus just ults nothing. The ult of Sia, is that his name? Sia? Is it like the singer? He doesn't like cheap thrills, or he likes cheap thrills. That's why he's going Lulu with Heal Ignite, you know? I think that's a cheap way of making the game spicy. Infernal Drake is the next Drake that comes up. Fnatic are grouping up. They have a lot of ranged champions. Gigabyte Marines need to engage. With Caps now, he's so crazy. He's so crazy because he has no cleanse. So bold. So bold what he's doing here, but it's working. Somehow it's working. To be honest, it's not that bold. I did the mistake of not actually looking at the minimap, because Tristana and Rakan are actually pushing bottom. So it's not that bold. Like baiting the enemy team to engage on you is actually smart, if anything. Tristana is pushing down bottom now, and Fnatic are playing very aggressive, and the enemy team is engaging on Caps and he's baiting them in. Tristana showed bottom, and his thought process is that Fnatic doesn't have anything to be scared of because Tristana showed bottom. What happened to the Orianna ultimate? Orianna ultimate gets flashed. Is there a world where Orianna ultimate could be put earlier together with Sejuani ultimate? Maybe if Sejuani ults earlier, maybe that would be the case. Like right now, if it just ults instead of playing it so strange, like Caps is playing so risky here while his team is running to the assistance of their bottom towers. Iron Storms in 1 minute, and so does Infernal Drake. Gigabyte Marines are very happy with this trade. Like Fnatic, sure. Maybe if they get a couple of more kills here, then maybe, just maybe, they'll get an inhib as well. Optimus is the main wave clear, and he's going to die here. Sejuani is nowhere to be found. She's basing inhib for inhib, it seems. But Fnatic got 2 kills as well, which is going to matter for the goal differential, right? And maybe together with this death timer now on Orianna, they can also secure the next upcoming objective. They have 2 Mountain Drakes, so they can kill both the Dragon very fast and the Baron really fast. I feel like the safe play for them would be to just do the Drake when it spawns, and then play around Nashor with the 4th Drake. What happened to Jessus here? I think Jessus is just basing like a crazy person. Yeah, he's just recalling our ward, it seems. Nothing else. Yeah, he's just recalling our ward, gets cancelled and gets killed. That's disappointing. So instead of being in position to actually do the Infernal Drake, they actually are quite the opposite. Fnatic are now going for Nashor. They could 2-mana try with Elise and Sivir. They could do it rather quick. Sivir has her Infinity Edge now, and the double Mountain Drake is definitely doing work. Cap's also on a Syndra, it's doing a lot of damage, and this Baron is just getting melted. And that's the big benefit here of Mountain Drake, that it's really hard for a team to assess how fast the enemy team can do Nashor, and Fnatic just straight up secure it with sheer brute force. The enemy team was obviously doing Infernal Drake, and the way to do it now would be to not commit so many people. Maybe let Sejuani just do it by herself, and then the rest of you just group. But Orianna also has a death timer, and now Gigabyte Marines committed 3 people to bottom side. They will get spotted on the mid ward, and their Fnatic is just committing here. Like, the only way you stop Fnatic from doing this is to contest at the right time, and the Gigabyte Marines were nowhere close to be found because they committed 3 people to do Infernal Drake. I think what you should look for is to try to cancel with 1 person less and then do Drake at the same time. And then I think you are in a fine position. But even then, like, Sivir ult would be used to engage, and maybe that would have been bad too. So maybe against Mountain Drake, you just can't leave your sights off of Baron at any time. Here it's very evident that everyone is walking towards bot side. Like, they saw Rakan, they saw Tristana walking towards bot, and this Nashor just is pretty free. So Fnatic with this Nashor, let's see what they can accomplish. Their comp is quite strange, lacks engage. They have Sivir ultimate, so maybe they can stun someone with Syndra, Elise, and maybe they can follow up on that. That would be like one tool. Maybe Gnar could flank from behind with one of these wards that he has placed, you know, behind Gigabyte Marines. They could also just play it slow and just let Gnar actually do some work on the side lane. Like, at this point in time, he should have a field day against Maokai. I don't know if he should be buying Last Whisper to even beat him even harder, because I feel like if he had Last Whisper with the Executioner's Calling upgrade, then I think he would have a really, really good time against Maokai. Fnatic are doing this thing where they're grouping up all together, but they don't have a lot of auto-attack range here, so maybe it's not the greatest decision. And Gigabyte Marines have a lot of wave clear themselves, so this is going to be a long one, ladies and gentlemen. It is important for Fnatic to spread their buff if they know there's going to be like a stalemate like this. Like, the enemy team just are standing 5 people under the turret, and it's important then that you spread your Nashor as much as possible. Gnar has the top wave, and I think it's positive that he's walking towards it. I think it's important to also place like a TP ward in the enemy base if possible, around the base gate, and then Gnar also has a lot of angles to work with when it comes to TPing in the situations that of course, I just lost my word completely, don't remember what I said. So Gigabyte Marine, you know, they're staying grouped. They want to make sure that the enemy team is also like grouped, because that is the situation Gigabyte Marines are stronger in. Now with the split push is starting to hit things, and Gigabyte Marines just need to try to look for the engage or match top with Maokai. Maokai doesn't have TP though, so it isn't something special to send Maokai up top. It's more about Fnatic now recognizing that they can't get engaged on, and that's the only way for Gigabyte Marines to get through this. Tristana should beat the Gnar 1v1, I believe. Especially with World's Bloodlust. She should be able to out-heal most of the damage that Gnar does. And it should be no biggie. Suaz is now at like 80% HP, a bit more. And right now nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. It's just a stale game. And I can imagine that Gigabyte Marines are happy with that. They're getting heavily they're under pressure because of the Baron, but their team composition is so strong in these group scenarios, so they don't need to worry that much. Baron is still available for 20 more seconds because of Elise's jungle buff. Elise still has it for another 10. Fnatic were just continuing the idea of spreading their national. Seems like Syndra is destroying Maokai 1v1 with that Leandris and that Void stuff. Not too hard to believe. So there's a lot of factors here that can make Gigabyte Marines come back in the late game. They have great engage tools, they have the Rakan that scales very well, Tristana that scales very well. And the advantage Fnatic has is that they have Gnar in the split push scene, and Fnatic seems to be a little bit better here on macro. They also learned the fact that they need to spread their Nashor, and I think a lot is going to come down to the upcoming one. So as it's pretty balls deep here, so is Caps. They're following on to Archie now. Orianna ultimate whiffs completely. Reckless jukes it. The charm lands on Reckless as well, but the shield is very well timed. It doesn't take a lot of damage. The shield from Jesses. The lock of the Divide on Solari. Reckless is going to try to Wordless Bloodless up his HP a little bit. But that's a dead Optimus. And Optimus with the Botch's ultimate once again. Gigabyte Marines just got engaged on in a situation where Gigabyte Marines just wasn't in position. Gigabyte Marines though, no way. No way he's playing this cool. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If he dies here, the game is over, I think. Elise has already taken the enemy's base. Continuing to the next one. Bottom tower is also really low. Maybe they could backdoor it for the triple inhib. Crazy stuff. Elder Dragon is also spawning for Fnatic. If they want it. Elder Dragon is up. Still quite some death timers, but Fnatic need to base and do all this jazz, and I feel like Optimus is going to be in time for that situation. But if they kill Levi here, it's going to be gone for maybe 55 seconds, so that's going to matter a lot. And Fnatic seem to have found him. He's not, he doesn't have TP, so he can't TP out, can't pull a SOAS. Obviously, if he had 10 TPs, that would not matter. Like he would just die and maybe even got cancelled, you know. But whoa. Holy Christ. That is crazy. What the hell? No way with the damage. Ooh. Let's see if Optimus can. Oh my goodness. Ooh. When I see this. So Sejuani got chased. Gigabyte Marines are just starting the Elder Dragon. That is their play. Archie's TPing into the pit. Nara's also TPing, and Gigabyte Marines definitely they just seal the day here. They kill it very fast because for each Drake you have, the less damage you do towards the Elder Dragon, and they only have one, so it doesn't change that much. Saya just dies here after using his ultimate. Let's see how he tries to create something with it. No, he just ults and dies. Or he just ults and... Holy, yeah, he's just dead. Holy moly. And that's the biggest issue of Sivir here. As she can't trade auto attack with any AD because she's lower range. That's the biggest problem for Sivir. Luckily, Soaz catches him and does the clutch stun here on Tristana, even though she has flash. Like, imagine she flashes that and all of a sudden this team fight looks 10 times different. It's so important here that Fnatic actually get the CC, and that should spell the end for Gigabyte Marines. Absolutely amazing. What a run today from Fnatic. Fnatic got that 2-1, and Immortals pretty much repeated the week that Fnatic had in first week. And Immortals look very uncreative and very boring in the first few games, but they still got that W. I mean, I phrased myself wrong. Like, the first games, they looked like they had the best draft. They had a very good draft, and they had everything figured out. They had all these different type of play styles. They were playing decently individually, but they're playing great as a team. And I just feel like Gigabyte Marines and Fnatic just turned on their team play buttons, and at the same time, I feel like Immortals. I feel like Immortals definitely underperformed. Fnatic celebrated a bit too fast. Holy moly. That is crazy. Karn is there too. Holy moly. That is crazy. What a storyline, you know. Absolutely crazy that they actually managed to qualify. Well, let's be honest, you know. Let's be honest. This was not a clean group stage from Fnatic. 2-4 ended 4-4 because they won 2 tiebreakers, so 4-4. And you know, they did have good performances. I think that Malzahar game against Immortals was definitely great, and Fnatic will most likely first, like most likely they will face a Korean team. Maybe they'll face RNG. The best bet that Fnatic can hope for is to face the first place team from Group D, I believe. Even the Group D teams are looking good, but RNG, Longzhu, and Samsung even, and SK Telecom are looking like the teams to avoid if you compare them to the potential first seeds of Group D. So all in all, Fnatic are going to qualify as a second seed. What a journey, what a day. I wish I saw this live, but sadly my health is disappointing me. I need to rest up, and I don't know if I can continue tomorrow. We will see. I will have to go to the doctor and see what's going on, but Fnatic definitely delivered when it was clutch time, and Sivir did great things in the early game. I think Sivir is a champion that we might see more of in the tournament. Soaz also did some clutch stuns there on Tristana, and Optimus definitely failed a lot of Orianna ultimates that could have been clutch, and Fnatic was just more on point here in the team fights in the long run. It was very important for them that they got the burst off on the right targets, and that they actually managed to somehow kill the Tristana, even though she was such a large threat. And I feel like the biggest issue for Gigabyte Marines here is that Optimus was playing very poorly in the fights, very bad ultimates, and there was a clear lack of synergy here between the abilities. Usually you want to Rakan ult into Orianna ball into ultimate and create something, but this never happened. This is what you need to look for with a composition like this. You have a good engage, you have a good follow-up, you have a death ball that you just have to stay together, but in a lot of the cases, Optimus just died early into the fights, and he didn't really ult anything either. We can take a look at this last fight once again. Like, I was just looking at the celebrations of the players, but let's take a look at this situation once again here. So Saya gets pretty much one-shotted, like he's walking up for no reason. This is quite troll. So this is troll number 1. Exhibition 1. Rakan is walking up here, and straight up is just running into his death. That is the first thing that went terribly wrong for Gigabyte Marines. He gets one-shotted, dies. Secondly, Orianna had a death timer on her, so she's coming into this situation very late, right? She's coming into this situation late. My suggestion was for Fnatic that they should, like, if Lulu didn't die, maybe they would have been able to just run straight to Elder Dragon and then be fine with it and just take it for free. but because Optimus had a long death timer, but didn't happen. So Oriana's far away, and then we see No Way is playing this phenomenally well. He has Zeke's convergence also popped, I think, and he managed to just 3-shot Sivir. And that is the beauty of Tristana, and the problem for Sivir that he just has lower attack range, and in this case also worse items. But then No Way is stuck in the pit, and that gives Soaz this opportunity here to get in there. And what No Way should have done is he should have flashed, and maybe the fight would have looked a lot different. And then Optimus is coming in so late, he is zoned out by Soaz and can't do much more about it. So No Way flash, Optimus coming late to it because of the situation, right? And maybe this was the best case scenario. Maybe if Fnatic just straight up got Infernal, they would have just pushed through base, most likely, right? They would get Infernal, they would get Baron, and the game would be over, right? So Gigabyte Marines put themselves in a scenario where maybe they get the Drake and maybe they can get away, maybe they can win the fight, but No Way dying with flash. Sia, or whatever you want to call him, just died for no reason, and it was still a fight that they could have played a lot better. And that settles it for what is the Group B. Thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna go to the doctor tomorrow, and I need to see what's up with my lungs and my rib cage, because I'm having a severe amount of pain and I'm struggling to even speak. So I'll see you guys next time. Woohoo for Fnatic, man. Crazy stuff.